A term that has been in vogue now in our culture for some time is the term downsize. We all know what that is. Most of us know people that have lost their jobs because a company has downsized. They have become smaller than they once were. My concern is that in America, that God has been downsized in many people's minds. I fear that God has been downsized in our culture for certain, that God is downsized in our government, that God is downsized in some of our churches and in some of our preachers, that God has been downsized. But let me just tell you about God. Psalm 48 and verse 1 says, "Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised." Our God is great. He is so big, He inhabits eternity. As a matter of fact, just to give you some concept of the bigness of God, you and I live in a galaxy called the Milky Way. From one side to the other of the Milky Way is 100,000 light years. That means traveling at the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. Traveling at 186,000 miles per second, it would take 100,000 years to get across our galaxy, this Milky Way. And yet, we're told by astronomers that there are billions of other galaxies out there. God is great. You know how He did it? It's very simple. In Genesis chapter 1, the first 10 words of the Bible, God puts it this way. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That's it. Not a big deal to God. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. I'm going to tell you, my friend, God is big. God is great. And He is a God with whom we have to do. And I would trust that if you have never trusted Him, this great God, as your Lord and Savior, that you would. And if you have relegated Him to a small place in your life, that you would put God back on the throne.